Hey guys, welcome back to CarnalDish. Today I'm going to show you a very simple, basic homemade pasta recipe that you should always have in your arsenal. Nothing, and I mean nothing, beats the taste and texture of fresh pasta. It is truly worlds apart from the stuff in the box. And because it comes together so quickly with ingredients that you more than likely have laying around the house already, there's no excuse not to make it from time to time. So with that said, let's get started. For this recipe, I'm using 00 flour, and it's just a really finely ground flour that's perfect for pasta. I've got 9 ounces of that in a bowl, and to that I'm going to add 3 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. You're just going to beat the eggs like they stole something so that they incorporate better into the flour. We're going to add the eggs to our flour, which is in our stand mixer fitted with the dough hook. And you may have to just kind of coax the flour so that it starts to mix. You're also going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to this and just keep mixing it around until it eventually forms into a ball. You can also use a food processor for this method. Either a food processor or a stand mixer give you really consistent results each time. So the dough is ready, it's nice and springy, and I'm just gonna knead it on my counter for about 1 to 2 minutes until it comes into a nice tight ball. The traditional method of making pasta dough is to mound some flour on your counter and make a well so that you can put the eggs in there and you slowly incorporate the eggs in the flour. That method is perfectly fine, but this method is a lot faster. So I'm just covering the dough with plastic wrap, and that's basically just gonna chill out on my countertop for at least 30 minutes. This resting period is very important because it gives the dough time to relax, the gluten relax, and the flour to hydrate. You're going to divide your dough in half and then each half into half, and you're gonna work with one piece at a time and make sure you keep the other pieces covered because they can dry out very quickly. I'm just flattening a little bit just so that it's a little bit easier to roll through the pasta machine. So on the first setting, which is the widest setting, you're just gonna run it through. Then you're gonna fold it either in half or into thirds like a business letter, and you're gonna run it through again. And you're gonna repeat this 5 times. Then you're gonna narrow down each setting, and you're only going to run it through twice. The reason why you want to fold the dough before you roll it the first 5 times is because that is essentially kneading the dough and building the structure so that our pasta is nice and sturdy and does not disintegrate when we go to boil it. So make sure that you do that. I remember the first time I made pasta from scratch many years ago, I didn't fold it before I rolled it through. And honestly, like, the texture was just okay. It didn't really have much of a structure. It kind of just fell apart in my mouth. So you want to make sure that you do this part. So now I'm all the way down to the second thinnest setting on my machine, which is actually perfect for lasagna sheets. It stays nice and sturdy and it holds up the sauce, the meat, and the cheese. So if you want to make lasagna, this is where you should stop. You want to make sure that you lightly dust the pasta with a little bit of flour between each setting so that it doesn't stick. So now I'm on the very last setting, which is the thinnest one. And honestly, like, this is my personal preference for, not lasagna noodles, like fettuccine noodles or spaghetti. Or if I wanted to make like a homemade tortellini, I would stop here. I think the last 2 settings are pretty much the most popular ones. So, try the lasagna sheet setting, and if you feel like that's too thick, then go down 1 more. Your pasta is perfectly thin when you can see your fingers through it. So you just want to let it rest on your counter, lightly flour it for about 5 minutes before you start to cut it. So now I'm just cutting some spaghetti to let you see what it looks like, and I'm holding the dough up just to kind of guide it. The thing about fresh pasta is that it's very fragile, so please be gentle with it at this point. Don't be too aggressive and try to yank it through. You might tear it and destroy it. Just relax a little bit. So this is what the spaghetti looks like on the thinnest setting, and my hands are not ashy. They are just coated in flour, so do not come for me. I'm going to hang this spaghetti on my pasta drying rack. If you do not have a pasta drying rack, it does not make a difference. You can just put these in cute little bundles, toss them with a little bit of flour so that they don't stick together, and just let them dry on the countertop. Here I am actually cutting some fettuccine because that is what I'll be using for my next recipe that I'll post in about a day or two. So just run that through the same way you did the spaghetti. Let that air dry for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can boil it. You can either boil it immediately or you can just let it dry a little bit like I'm going to. And I also want to show you guys how to cut pasta if you don't have a cutter. All you have to do is just take a sheet of pasta and gently roll it up very loosely so that it's not too tight. You're going to take a very sharp knife and you're just going to cut the dough into strips as narrow or as wide as you want. You can make pappardelle or tagliatelle. You can just make fettuccine. You can try to make spaghetti. It doesn't matter. And that's basically it, you guys. It's super easy, very simple. I know it seems like it's an intimidating thing to do, but it's 2 to 3 ingredients. You mix them up, you let the dough rest, then you roll it out and you cut it. Simple. And it's absolutely delicious. I'm telling you, there is nothing like the texture of fresh pasta. It just has that stuff in the box beat. So give this recipe a try, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
She make you wanna lick the plate. I know you love the way it tastes. Carnal dishes.